Welcome back, everyone, to Still a Part of Us. We have had a wonderful, wonderful conversation with Elif and her two sweet babies that she was able to carry for 28 weeks. And so welcome back. We're so excited to chat with you and see what this whole process has been for you. So welcome back, Elif.
Thank you for having me, Winter. It's a pleasure to talk with you.
Yeah. I am wondering if you can give us a little bit of a recap what happened to your children and also a point of reference when they were born.
I gave birth at 28 weeks about 4 months ago, and it was an emergency C-section due to placental issues. And I lost my daughter 2 hours after the birth, and my son 3 days after the birth.
I found it so it was beautiful just hearing what you guys went through and the time that you got to be with your son Dennis. I know that you did not get very much time with Mavi, so if you get a chance to listen to their birth episodes, I would highly recommend it. I just thought it was so tender how much he fought and how much you were fighting for him and being there for him, despite grieving your daughter's passing as well. So please go listen to that if you get a chance. So you mentioned that it's only been about 4 months since your kids passed away. I am wondering how that has looked and how you and your husband have journeyed through that so far. I know it's still very new and very raw and very heartbreaking, but can you tell us a little bit how you would describe these first few
Well,
months?
grief is a personal journey, so grief is different for everyone. I felt completely numb for the first few weeks. I didn't know what to feel. Should I be sad? Should I be angry? I had zero recollection of emotions during those
Mm,
2, 3 weeks.
yeah.
And as the time passed, I felt sad, then I felt angry, then I felt devastated. And now I am slowly starting to feel more positive about the whole experience. I am so proud to be their mother. I'm so proud of myself of going through that. And my husband, he's coping in his own ways. He's such a sporty person. He swims, he rides
Hmm.
bicycle, he runs. So he is doing his part of the work, and he's actually back to work. He's working. I'm still taking some time off work.
Hmm.
So he is dealing his grief by actually working and trying maybe not to think about it so much.
Hmm.
And we are also seeking help. We are going through a grief therapy.
Mm.
It helps so much. I recommend everybody to seek help if they feel that they need it.
Hmm.
Just talking about whole process, it helps a lot.
Yeah. Are you going together as a couple or separately?
We are going together as a couple, but our counselor sometimes wants to see us
Mm,
separately.
great.
It changes from week to week.
Yeah. Yeah. I love how you said that grief is very personal. Like it's you your husband is working through it, literally, like working through it. And it sounds like you are like need that space and just the time to traverse all of those feelings. And it is I just when you said it's very personalized, I can think of some people's little journey is just a straight line or kind of one that goes squiggly and then others are like all over the place and yeah, you just don't know what it's going to be like.
You know, we shouldn't judge anybody's grief journey.
Mhm.
We can just see someone looking so strong, so over the whole process,
Yeah.
and deep inside they can be devastated. So
Yeah.
we shouldn't be judgmental.
Yeah. That's really a nice way of putting it just cuz we don't know what it's like going through them. you mentioned that you are taking still some time off from your work. And I also want to point out that you guys live in Turkey. And so is the parental leave, how is the policy there? Is it conducive to letting you have that space?
You in Turkey, you can have up to 6 months of parental leave.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to lengthen that, you can opt to lengthen that process.
That's amazing.
So I still have a lot of time
Yes. Yes.
just to be able to process everything.
Yeah. That is great because the United States is not great when it comes to parental leave. So I'm always like, oh man, I got to go to another country if I'm going to get the care I want. One of the things that I like to ask people is the different stages of grief. I know, like we mentioned before, is that it's still very early on, but you have mentioned that you've gone through sadness and anger and even a period of essentially not feeling anything. Are there any things that you were have you been surprised at with your reaction to things?
I mean, I think I was very serene about the whole thing,
Mm.
Before losing my children,
Mm.
I would have thought losing a child would make someone even mad, insane, they wouldn't be able to control themselves. But I was so serene, so calm, so put together in some sense. And it was surprising to me
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
everybody kept telling me, how can you be so calm? And, I had no other way
Yeah.
to go through this.
Yeah, exactly. You don't yeah, you've lost your children. You're going through this, and that is interesting that your body has taken on your whole person has taken on a very serene or that's very interesting. One of the things that another thing I like to ask people is after this time of loss, have you found anything that has been very helpful that people have done for you, that you have done for yourself? I know you mentioned
Mm.
therapy, going to that and recommending that. I'm all there with that too. I was like, go to therapy if you need it. But
Um,
anything that helps.
my biggest fear was forgetting Deniz and Mavi and
Hmm.
people forgetting about them. My close friends and my family actually donated in their name
Oh,
uh, for some children who are seeking treatment or some other organizations helping people in need.
yeah.
My mother actually donated to a foundation that will plant trees in their name.
Hmm.
So that was the most helpful thing, you know, just people trying to make their existence longer,
Yeah.
people trying to remember them. It was amazing. And I would recommend anybody who is going through something like this, maybe donating in their children's name, may be a great way to make people remember their
Hmm.
children.
Hmm. Yeah, because like if there's a tree planted in their name, each of their names, that's really fun to have. That they're kind of out there. A little part of them is out there. That is really sweet, and this comes up pretty regularly. Is this theme of remembering or bringing them up? That makes a huge difference. It seems like to a lot of people, that have lost their babies. Does do your families talk about them? Talk about the experience at all?
My side of the family talks about them almost every day.
Hmm.
My father visits their grave almost every day, actually.
Oh,
He
really?
works very close
Mm-hmm.
to the cemetery, so he visits them, he plants flowers to their grave. talks
Oh,
to them. So, I mean, it's wonderful to see that.
yeah.
I guess everybody is trying in their own way to remember them.
Yeah. And that's the best way to do that. Just yes. And have there been any things that have been a little bit hard for you to if that people have done or said that was a little hard for you to hear or to experience?
Well, because they were prematurely born,
Mhm.
and maybe if they lived, they might have might have had some disabilities or some
Yes.
problems.
Yeah.
People kept telling me that don't be sad because if they were even to live, they would have some disabilities. It would be so hard to see them like that. This sentence was so hard to hear
Yeah.
because they were my children, and even it meant to have them some disabilities or some problems. It wouldn't change anything for me. You
That
know,
yeah, they're still your children.
they are my children, and this particular thing hurt me so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine it doesn't negate the fact that they were your children. And we all I'm going to be honest, like I think people forget that uh, all of us have our own set of problems and some of it might be very obvious and others maybe not but
Maybe not. Yeah.
you'll still be raising your children with all their set of differences and issues that they might come up with. So I would like to ask you, do you guys is it fairly common to have like a baby shower? So in Turkey, so is that something that you would usually have a party to celebrate the coming of a baby?
We have baby showers in Turkey, but
Mhm.
it's not really my thing,
Oh, okay.
actually. So we never did that. And but it's a popular thing in Turkey too. People have baby showers,
Yeah. Okay.
but it's not really my thing.
Okay. I
I'm
just.
I'm I'm a bit of a private person,
Mhm.
and so I like to leave everything in my time circle.
Yes. Okay. Well, and that's great because it sounded like the people that were at the hospital, the people that supported you are the ones that are here and supporting you and and that is wonderful. I just wasn't sure if you guys had any sort of early celebration when you guys got pregnant or if that was something that you had to cuz a lot of people will have a baby shower or something and people start bringing things to the baby and then you have to put everything away after they are born and are gone.
We have a full nursery right
Oh,
now, with their furniture, their clothes, and everything is
everything.
ready to go.
Yeah.
But we never wanted to lose that nursery, actually, because
Really?
we strongly hope that one day their living sibling, is going to use those stuff, use those cribs,
Yeah.
and wear those clothes. So seeing that nursery actually makes us happy.
Yeah. That's wonderful. I there's so many people that don't it's too hard. It's too hard and it's once again it sounds like you have like you said a hope. I think that's beautiful cuz you have you're looking forward to something. Was there people go through all sorts of different types of loss. Obviously, we have experienced child loss. Now that you've kind of gone through that loss, have you found yourself a little bit of a better person to empathize with other people that have losses? I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yes and no,
Hmm.
actually. I kind of started to see everything in a scale of one to have you lost your baby?
That's a good scale. I feel like that's a good scale.
So, yes, loss is a big word for everyone.
Yes.
Every loss matters,
Yeah.
but in my opinion, child loss is
Yeah.
it's such a different category. It's such a different journey. Yes, I empathize with people who had losses, but I think child loss is heavier than
Yeah.
any of those.
I'm curious to see what you think. Why do you think that is? Why would you grade it, not grade it, but like say that it is?
Because a child is something that you give life. You nourish, you grow that child inside of you. And if you are a father, you nourish that child from the
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
You wait for that child, you plan, you dream, you do everything you can to plan a future for that child. And you are supposed to give life. And to lose a person that you give life,
Yeah.
it is hard.
It is so hard. I think I would agree. I agree. I was curious to see what you thought about it because I have heard people say this and I think I was like, yeah, I agree because it feels like you didn't just lose this child that you gave life to, you lost their entire future too. And you do have hopes and dreams for them and what they're going to be able to experience and now it's gone and that is crushing.
I mean, as lost parents, we are parenting our children from heaven. We are trying to parent our children who are not with us, but
Yeah.
also with us.
Yeah.
It is the most excruciating thing that a person can do, in my opinion.
Yeah. Elif, I know that you are Muslim, and I know that your imam said something at Mavi's funeral, which I thought was so beautiful. Just how it's just a short time that you will be separated, and I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about your beliefs and in regards to that. Do you guys is that something that you guys hope for and believe in?
Well, I'm more religious than
Hmm.
my husband,
Yeah.
and in Muslim belief, we believe that children waits for their parents just in front of the heaven, just to
Yeah.
greet them.
Oh.
And if you have lost a child, then you are going to heaven because they're waiting for you,
Yeah.
and that is granted for you
Oh.
because you suffered such a loss at this world. You are going to have so much in afterlife.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful.
And it was such a relief to hear that for me.
Mhm.
He said, just be patient
Yeah.
and try to wait, because this is temporary.
Yep. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate you sharing that little bit of your belief just because it's not I'm not very familiar and I have no there's not very many people that are willing to talk about their different beliefs with child loss because a lot of like you said a lot of cultures it's very taboo and they don't want to consider it or they don't talk much about it. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate all of your time today, and I really appreciate how considerate and thoughtful you have been with your pieces of advice and things that you have learned and shared. And I will say that I agree with you. You are extremely serene about it and extremely hopeful, and that brings me hope too because it's always nice to be like, yeah, our children are so close.
We should believe that there's a light at the end of that tunnel,
Hmm.
and there will be a better outcome from all of the suffering that we have been through.
Yes. So, Alif, thank you again. Thank you so much for coming on and for chatting with me and for sharing your kids because Mavi and Dennis, they are very much a part of you and your family. And we thank you so much again.
Thank you so much for having me and listening to their story.